Are congressional Republicans ready to bow to Wall Street on tariffs against Mexico? Hello, this is Robert Romano, Vice President of Public Policy with Americans for Limited Government, dailytorch.com. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. Today we're going to be talking about congressional Republicans and whether they're willing to get tough on Mexico. Are they willing to use tariffs? President Trump is threatening to use tariffs. On May 30th, he said, quote, on June 10th, the United States will impose a 5% tariff on all goods coming into our country from Mexico until such time as illegal migrants coming through Mexico and into our country stop. The tariff will gradually increase until the illegal immigration problem is remedied, at which time the tariffs will be removed. Details from the White House to follow. Now, this isn't the first time President Trump has threatened to do something like this. In April of 2018, when the USMCA was still being negotiated, Trump said, quote, Mexico, whose laws on immigration are very tough, must stop people from going through Mexico and into the U.S. We may make this a condition of the new NAFTA agreement. Now, the USMCA was agreed to. It did not include any provisions for curbing illegal immigration, but clearly it's still on Trump's mind. And now he's saying that there's going to be a 5% tariff on all goods from Mexico, and that number is going to increase until such time that Mexico helps to get control of the border. Why is this important? Well, the numbers on the southern border are not good at all. In the month of May, according to the latest data from U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, 144,278 people were apprehended on the southern border, illegal immigrants. And that number is accelerating. It was 109,000 in April, 104,000 in March. And so it's accelerating, and it's really bad. In the first 8 months of fiscal year 2019, there have been 676,000 apprehensions on the southern border. That's more than 12 months of fiscal 2018, when it was only 521,000. And we don't have enough beds to accommodate all those people. Congress did not provide enough beds in the budget. That's a problem. Congress should be providing more beds and more facilities to detain people, and they should be providing more resources. Trump shouldn't have to declare national emergencies to unlock military construction funds to build a wall and secure the border. That's a huge problem here, and it's not gonna get any better until Congress gets serious about this issue. Unfortunately, even though President Trump is getting tough, congressional Republicans, not so much. They're a little reticent to go along with the tariffs. U.S. Senator Ron Johnson out of Wisconsin, he's a Republican, said, quote, tariffs are not really real popular in the Republican conference. And so if this comes to another national emergency, Congress might vote to overturn that again. The last time that happened, when they tried to overturn the emergency to unlock the military construction funds, Trump vetoed it. And then the House failed to veto it, and House Republicans were the reason for that. The vote failed, 248 to 181. That's not a 2/3 majority that's needed. And so congressional House Republicans so far have been with President Trump on securing the border. Well, they need to stick with President Trump on this 5% tariffs, especially if Senate Republicans want to try to change that, to go with perhaps maybe stand with Democrats and stop President Trump from doing these tariffs. But I got to tell you, these tariffs are necessary. Look at the amount of people who are flooding the southern border. They're coming from Central America, this huge migrant caravan. It keeps coming every month, and it keeps getting bigger. We're at 676,000 in this fiscal year alone. If this continues accelerating, it could be over 1 million this year, and Congress shouldn't be getting in the way of that. Trump needs to be able to deal with Mexico, and using tariffs and trade policy as a form of sanction to encourage and incentivize Mexico to help secure the border, I think is prudent. And it's warranted. We can't allow this many people to come in and just let me sit by and say, oh, Mexico, sorry, we're nervous about investors. I mean, they shouldn't be nervous. Wall Street, basically, we're basically in correction territory anyways. The The S&P 500 index, it got up to nearly a little bit over 2,900, and then that was near the previous high, and then it went back down, which is kind of what happens when it gets up to a previous high, but then it doesn't punch past it. So you have a little bit of correction, but now it's already bounced back. We're back to pre-May 30 levels. And the reason for that is because the Federal Reserve is forecasting a potential interest rate cut. And so I guess investors are less concerned about the 5% tariff and are more interested in lower interest rates potentially from the Fed, lower borrowing costs for banks, and that they're not concerned about the 5% tariff as much as they were just a few days ago. In any event, we don't make policy decisions based upon those types of considerations. We don't make long-term decisions based upon what investors are doing in the short term. And that's there's good reasons for that, especially when it comes to security. Short-term economic considerations should not come before national security, but that's exactly what some Senate Republicans are doing right now. Fortunately, House Republicans can still stand with President Trump, and perhaps you want to call your member of Congress and let them know that you want them to stand with President Trump and support the tariffs on Mexico so that we don't have this huge migrant caravan coming to the United States. I think that's a good policy. They're probably not going to be able to overturn the emergency if there is another emergency declared. Anyways, President Trump, he needs flexibility. He's the president. He conducts foreign policy. We only have one president at a time. And if these congressional Republicans, if they think they can do a better job, well, maybe they should run for president in 2024 after President Trump is no longer standing for election. In the meantime, we don't need congressional Republicans to be surrendering on tariffs against Mexico. We need to be getting tough on Mexico and securing the border. This is no time to be weak. And frankly, Senate GOP right now is being a little bit weak. So I'll leave you with the closing here. The U.S. By the way, the USMCA is something that Congress needs to adopt. That would definitely help out the situation here and allow President Trump to focus more on border security. The fact that you have tariffs coming into play now, well, that means it's time to enact the USMCA and to get serious about border security. So here's the closing. Mexico is allowing hundreds of thousands of people in the migrant caravan to traverse its lands directly into America. The question here is whether Congress, particularly Republicans, will support the president in exerting pressure via the tariffs and foreign policy on Mexico to address a key security concern. So far, their response is weak, but hopefully House Republicans will do better. And hopefully nervous investors are not more important than border security, because clearly security comes first. That's the commentary. This is Robert Romano, Vice President of Public Policy with Americans for Limited Government, dailytorch.com. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and have a great day.